So, with that being said, I'm not going to allow a religion to sway how I feel in this black empowerment stance. I'm not going to allow who my so-called friends are supposed to be to sway how I feel. I'm not going to allow a job position or anything to sway how I feel. And so we're hiding behind religion and saying fuck our people. I have an aunt. This is an aunt that I haven't seen since I was a child, alright? My grandfather died. Y'all know how I go. You don't see family until somebody dies or some family reunion or some shit. And so, my grandpa, who I only saw before that funeral maybe 3 times my whole life, he died, and I chose to go pay my respects anyway, despite the fact that I didn't know the man or anything. I went and I paid my respects. And my aunt was there, and she was like, hey, give me your number, give me your Facebook, we got to stay in touch. And so we did that. But alright, I'm back. Kids needed a water break. But my aunt, like I said, I haven't seen her since I was a child. I ran into her at my grandpa's funeral. We exchanged contact information. We stayed in touch until she figured out what I was on. When she figured out what I was on, that it wasn't sweet little baby Jesus born in a manger wrapped in swaddling clothes, she blocked me off of Facebook, unfriended me, changed her number, and has chosen to not have anything to do with me. Like, she called my grandmother and told my grandmother I'm on some evil satanic shit. What the fuck? You're on some evil satanic shit. That's what Christianity is. It's some evil satanic shit. Anything that would cause you to turn your back on flesh and blood because they choose not to believe or practice or follow the same thing that you, that's some evil satanic shit. But this is what we do. Some of the harshest debates that I've seen on Facebook have been behind religion. And what people choose or choose not to believe in. I don't believe in that book of fairy tales. I'll read that shit to my kids like bedtime stories out of Grimm's book of fairy tales or some shit. About the mysterious character who walked through and he made blind men see, turned water to wine, rose people from the dead. He rose from the fucking dead. These are fairy tales. Common sense tells us this, but the fear that they put in us that if we don't believe it, we're going to hell, causes us to think otherwise. So this is complete and utter bullshit. I need my people especially to wake up. Wake the fuck up. This is not anything that was made to benefit you or to bring you up in any shape, form, or fashion. If you are black and you are benefiting from the religious that you practice, it's because you are the preacher. And I guarantee you, they don't even believe the shit that they practice or that they're telling you to believe in. In Europe, they pray to a Black Mary, not Cesare Borgia. But we've had this religion beaten into us, and this religion tells us to abide by the land, by the laws of the land, and the people that are setting the laws of the land do not have our best interests at heart. They have our destruction and our genocide and our destruction. We're not going to be here. If they have their way, we're not going to be here. These are acts of genocide that they are carrying out against our people. When these storms hit and our people are in these neighborhoods are torn up, they did a whole story on News Talk Radio. I listen to a lot of News Talk Radio because I can't listen to the so-called music. that is on the radio. So they were talking about the areas that were affected, like not just Houston, but the areas around Houston that were affected by this storm, and what was going to happen to those people that were displaced. Well, this storm conveniently hit at the end of the month. So a lot of those people got eviction notices before they could even get back in there and start cleaning up. These neighborhoods are where the lower income people lived. So they're going to push these lower income people out to God knows where. All right? They're going to completely tear down these neighborhoods, and they're going to build high-rise condominiums that those people that originally lived in that neighborhood cannot afford. So where does that put them? Gentrification. Gentrification is just a tool that they use in their overall goal of genocide. They've already got investigations going all over Chicago where it's not all of this gang violence and street violence like they're claiming it is. It's police officers that are running around killing these people and using the black on black crime bullshit to cover up their fuckery. Acts of genocide are being carried out against our people. They're using religion, they're using media, they're using our schools, they're using jobs. They control the jobs that you're able to get. But when times get hard, we all fall into this submissive stance on our knees with our hands folded, and we're begging to an imaginary person to save us. Nobody's coming to save you. You can't just read the Bible. You have to read into the Bible. The Bible told you that the Son of God would return. It returns every day. Every morning the sun rises. They said Jesus was a natural healer. Jesus was the Son of God. The Son of God. The Son of God is a natural healer. Cesare Borgia, that white dude that they got y'all worshiping, not. He was a pedophile war tyrant. Stop giving your money to these people. Stop believing this bullshit. Stop reading the Bible and read into the Bible. It says that God created us in His image. That doesn't mean that God looks like a man. It means we're gods. Every living entity on this planet is a representation of God. That is a part of God. That is the energy that God created. We are God. I am God. You are God. My kids are gods. The grass, the trees, the flowers, the birds, the bees, the fish, dogs, cats, whatever, you name it. If it lives, if it breathes, if it grows, it's of God. It is God. Not some magical person in the sky sitting on a cloud watching all of this hell and torment rain down on these people that he claims he loves so much. That's not God. God is in you. If you put that same energy that you're putting into this outside entity, into yourself, into your thoughts and what you believe in, you can make as much shit happen as you believe is making other shit happen. I see shit all the time and it pisses me off, and I've heard people say it and I don't even respond to it at this point. But you'll do something for somebody, and instead of thanking you, they'll say, oh, thank you, Jesus. What the fuck are you thanking him for? I did it. I saw a post on Facebook from one of my Facebook friends where she said this guy happened to be a white guy. Her and her daughter went into a restaurant or to a grocery store or something, and this guy, he's sitting outside begging for change. So when she walks by, he said, excuse me, ma'am, do you have some change you can spare? And she told him to ask Jesus, and I don't blame her. Alright? He said, I did, and Jesus told me to ask you. She said, well, then that makes me your God. God never said that we had to give to these people to tell us who he is. God said that I am where you are. So if we're reading into the Bible and not just reading the Bible, anywhere we are, he is. You don't have to go to some fancy mega church, to some little church. You don't have to go to a church, period. You don't have to put no money in no offering plate. Sit down, turn off your devices, and meditate. And that's when you'll hear God speak. The simplest way I can put it, I explained to my children when we were coming into, when me and my husband, when we were coming into our awakening, and we heard it put this way. And it was like, wow, that really makes sense. But if I tell you to say a word in your head, I'm going to tell you to say a word. I don't want you to say it out loud. I want you to just say this word inside of your head. Say godliness. Now, when you said that word in your head, whose voice did you hear? Was it this magical person that sits on this cloud in the sky? Was it his son, Cesare Borgia? Was it your pastor who supposedly is sent by God? Was it Joel Olsteen? Was it your mom? Was it your dad? Was it your kids? Or was it your voice that you heard? If it was your voice that you heard, then guess what? You heard God. So with that being said, to talk to God, you don't need to go to some fancy building. You need to sit down, zone out, and talk. Stop giving of yourself to an outside entity that is going to do nothing for you but bring you down, weigh you down. That monkey on half of y'all's back is Cesare Borgia. Let go of that shit. It's not for us. It was only meant to control us, and it's still working. At this point, I think white people are surprised. Like, oh my God, it's still working? What the fuck? Stop giving to this man in his offering plate. That's not required by God. God asked that you do for his children. Again, we're reading into the Bible, not reading the Bible. He said to do for his children. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Even if they can't do shit else to repay you for what you've done for them, do for them. Because you would want the same done for you. This should just be common practice. Look, a lot of y'all know, we were staying in a hotel for like the last 3 years. Alright? So, for a while after we moved out of there, for like a week or so after we moved out of there, I was still going over there to do these CPR classes. And so, there was this older lady that stayed at the church. Excuse me, because that's what we're talking about. But I'm sorry. There was this older lady that stayed at the hotel. This lady was on a walker. She had a cast with one of those big boots on one foot. And I'm talking an elderly lady. And on my way to do one of these classes one day, and I'm already running late and don't feel like dealing with these white people, I see this lady walking down the street, and I'm talking like a couple of miles away from the hotel. So I turned around and made a complete U-turn, stopped everything what I was doing to be of assistance to this lady that to me had no business walking a couple of miles away with this cast and this big boot on her foot, and she's got obvious health conditions. Nobody else stopped. Why do we need this fancy book to tell us that that's what we need to do for people? I did that because I felt like that's what I needed to do for her. And I don't believe in sweet little baby Jesus or none of that bullshit in that fuck-ass book that y'all believe in. It's human nature. Y'all are throwing away human nature to practice this bullshit that some man told y'all is fact. Stop making these people rich. So I don't know when, I don't know where first, but I will be going on a semi-tour, I guess you could call it, to, I'm going to start here in the Metroplex area. And I'm going to go to some of these mega churches, the predominantly black mega churches in this area. If they've ever been televised, I'm showing up there first. So TD Jakes, get ready. Tony Evans, get ready. Ibach, what is his name? Get ready. I'm going. And when it comes time for that offering plate to get passed around, I'm going to stop everybody before they drop $1 in there and ask, what the fuck are they donating to that shit for? Pastor Rush is good. Tony Evans, great. TD Jakes, my God. These people are fucking loaded. And we go and give to their non-profit organizations that they don't have to pay no taxes on, no nothing, so that they can continue to live it up while selling us a dream that our happiness and our security and our living it up awaits us in this afterlife, in this magical kingdom above the clouds. Stop the fucking madness. I'm showing up. Like I said, I don't know when first, I don't know where first, but I will be showing up, and I will be waking the masses up. These pastors know exactly what they're doing. They know that shit is some bullshit. Tell me why somebody who was chosen by God to lead his people to him has to go to college and receive a whole entire fucking degree, or they can't do that. You weren't chosen by man or by God. You were chosen by man. You were not chosen by God. You were chosen by man. White man. To do his biddings against your own fucking people. It's time for us to wake up. Stop making these people rich. Stop giving your money to church. Stop giving your money to Jordan. Stop giving your money to Nautica and all of this other designer shit, these red bottoms and bundles and all of this bullshit. Invest in yourself. Half of us wouldn't need no Section 8. Half of us wouldn't need no house in the hood. Half of us wouldn't need no food stamps, no none of that shit, if we weren't giving to all of this bullshit, this material bullshit, and contributing to other people's material bullshit. Fuck Joel Olsteen, Tony Evans, TD Jakes, and any of these other pastors that are running around here knowing that the shit that they're spewing is complete and utter fuckery that is dooming our people. Fuck them all. And you should too.